Okay,
are you ready?
ready.
All right, I'm standing in for Sadie today, so welcome. As we start our meeting, I'm Linda Weiss, if you want to go around the table.
And Heman?
Christy Poole.
Keith Chandler. Josh Heineman.
Thank you. Jennifer LaRue. Michelle Tennant.
Thank you.
And you guys are from the Dachshund event or just super fans?
Yeah, part of the nonprofit that puts it on.
Yes.
But
Nice
we
to
have
have
super fans. I have 6.
Okay, and do we have a chance to review the minutes, everyone? Any changes or additions? You vote to
Yeah.
accept.
I'll move to accept the minutes of March 18th.
I'm not seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And financial review.
Okay, so financially, we have an updated budget document and we have expenditures. We do not have financial because again, the city is just doing it on the second meeting of every month, so it'll be every other meeting that we'll have that it seems like. But the expenditures are updated, everything's tracking well, we're looking at 76.8% for personnel and services, 73.2% for materials and services. Looks like the chamber and the downtown development business license portions were paid out, so that's good, that helps us understand your budget a little better. Advertising sitting at 71%. And I'll just note that the maintenance contracts and the professional contractual sections are looking really good, which is great because this is the first year that we've moved the WorldMark fees, dues from professional contractual into maintenance. So that basically the fact that these are tracking well just shows that that was probably a good move because our professional contractual was a much more understandable 47.9% instead of like 80% or something. That would be just because we're paying some dues for the WorldMark parking cross.
Okay. Staff update.
All I really want to add was, I did, something I've been wanting to do for a while as community liaison, and that was do a presentation on our visitor guide. Basically the highlights of things that I feel staff at places should know. I got to do my first one. I was invited by Brandon Kraft to, come present at the Holiday Inn staff meeting. They're monthly. It was great. Everybody was very responsive, paid attention. I even got a call afterwards from a guy who was still thinking about it. So that made me feel good. Next one coming up at Catherine on Tuesday for the staff there. And then just Mark Hopman just confirmed that I'll be one at Best Western. They have their pre-summer kickoff staff party. It's like 6 o'clock on a Thursday. They're gonna have bonfire and hot dogs and everything.
6 a.m.
At PM. Oh. And I'll get to present. So, you know, it's pretty cool. I really wanted to do this and find ways to open this up to more staff anywhere. So it doesn't just have to be hotel staff. If you've got staff that think they could benefit from, or anybody that you know of, they've got staff that could benefit from a little bit of education on what's in the guide and how to direct people. It takes me 15-20 minutes to go through it. So, but it was very fun and exactly what I was hoping to do. One of the things as community needed. Thank you.
Monthly stats.
Let's take a look. So for March, Inter Center traffic was down 14%. Down 14% for the year as well. Bond volume was exactly equal to last year, strangely. Visitor guide lead volume was up 67% and total distribution was up 20%. Now you'll notice that so if we look at the snapshot for the whole quarter, January, February, March, for total visitor guide distribution, we're at 30,835 guides outdoor. That's 3% down from last year, which felt counterintuitive to me because of just our experience in the office. So I looked up this numbers and it's actually kind of interesting. What's down is that we rescinded we use Certified to distribute guides around the region. You might not know that, but we do.
Certified folder.
Certified folder. They pick up a huge pallet and they distribute them all. And all these programs we're part of, including the Columbia River Gorge, attractions and lodging and hotels on the I-5 in Washington southbound, on the I-5 in Oregon northbound. So it's this whole program, and we had a program that's from Vancouver to Longview, and that one's been removed. And then this visitor guide distribution around town is down, so that kind of distribution is down about 2,000 guides over last year at this point. But our mail order program, where we are sending guides to people who've ordered visitor guides through our advertising through our website, is up 1,000 this time. So that's a much higher quality
Yeah.
lead. And so it's actually a really kind of a nice place to be in. Just again, another example of why numbers don't always mean anything unless you understand the context around them. I'd say that the guides we've sent out the door this year so far are higher quality in general. Total web sessions are up, same with active users. We are having some downtime with our website, which has been really frustrating because we just got through this issue where we had spam bots ordering visitor guide orders that we had to pull out of the actual leads every week, and that was annoying. So we fixed that. Now what we got going on is our CPU hits 100% because of a bunch of AI bots and search bots hitting our event calendar. And they make a million queries like, oh, this, and it just crashes the computer and our whole site goes down. And then it comes back in 15 minutes, but it's just really annoying. So we're working on fixing that right now. It's just always a moving target, you just, who would have known 2 years ago that we'd be fighting a bunch of artificial intelligence bots on a daily basis, but that's what we're doing. But our active user, which is a metric that pulls out, there's no bots now, that's an active person that's clicking on stuff and engaging, that is up 21% in March, up 14% for the quarter. Email signups continue to be really strong. This is thanks in part to our website, and also thanks in part to the 4 radio contests we did this year with in Seattle and Portland. So that just adds a lot of subscribers to our list. Web visitor guide requests are down 27%, but that's because we have moved one chunk of our segment, of our advertising segment that push people to the visitor guide order form. Instead of pushing people to the visitor guide order form, we've taken their information in Meta. So basically we're testing, removing that step where they click on it, they go to our site, and then they fill out the form. They're already in Facebook, so we just have them click a button, and whatever information they already have in Facebook gets populated, and then they have to fill in whatever's missing. And it's been super successful so far. And actually what's been great about it is that we were able to take the first month's worth of data and then take that information and feed it into the meta system, and then have it build a lookalike audience who aren't our current audience, but who behave and have many characteristics of our current audience, and then serve ads to them instead. And when it turns out, it's actually cheaper to serve people, and we're getting new audience members added to our group. And this is also where some of our email signups. So it's been a great experiment. It does mean that our web form seems like it's underperforming, but what's really happening is a segment of that traffic is now on Meta. But we keep track of it and set it through. So I do want to say you look at the bed tax order, the bed tax for Q2 2025, that is the end of last year. That's been updated since we last met. There's been late payments that have come in. So the quarter for hotel now is up 6.6% over the previous year. Vacation rentals are still down 2.9%, but combined they're up 4.29% over the previous year. For full context, the previous year was down 10%. So it's, even though it's up 4.2% over last year, it's still a little bit under. It's about $100,000 down over those at its peak 2 years ago for that combined number. The Q1 was up 1.6% and was up 2.3% the year before. So all in all, looking pretty good on that side of things, that all things considered. Any questions about this? Before we go on to the Director,
You missed all the good stuff,
Sorry.
all the numbers.
he's our chair now.
Just
You're doing a great job, we're just moving through this. Okay, so director's report, we have seen a clear trend in social media performance where video is really dominating our stats. Through the first quarter of 2026, 92.7% of our followers on Visit Seaside properties have come directly from video contents, mostly reels on Facebook. And so it's really kind of grown into our most effective tool for reach, engagement, and growth on social media. So in response, we've kind of begun focusing on video, and we've revived our YouTube account, which actually I just was in there the other day poking around, and it was like, happy, it's your birthday, it's your anniversary, like happy like 15-year birthday. And it's like, I've just logged into this like last week for the first time. It's like we do not use it heavily. So, but we have been using it heavily now. As our audience increasingly shifts towards video first discovery, YouTube provides both immediate visibility and longevity through a mix of short form algorithm optimized videos, sort of like reels, and then longer evergreen content like 2 videos that we posted on there. Currently, we're focusing on building a consistent organic presence aligned with our destination branding and connecting with others who love and visit Seaside and share their experience online. So we're commenting on other people's posts as the account, sharing and liking it, things like that. We've gotten maybe 60 followers in the last couple weeks, and we've had thousands of views of our videos. It's really re-energized it by starting to post with the regular cadence. Let's just show you the YouTube actions so you can see what it's looking like.
See the video you have there, the well watching where you've circled them. You could go just get one on the circle it.
Is it spouting still?
Only if you put-
Maybe, yeah. Depends on where you
Wave
go.
splash against it hard.
I will tell you though, this
Oh, God.
this stupid whale thing is so annoying. Every day we deal with people that's like, that's not Seaside. I can tell because I was there once and the waves were bigger. So, maybe,
You've gone back and forth with one guy like
yeah.
8 times now.
Yeah,
Thankfully, we have other pictures from that same shoot that's where you can see the Moby mat, you can see the, what do you call it, the semaphore and stuff like that. But there's no point in arguing.
no, there's some people that,
No. But so anyway, so you'll see that we have, this is our main newest video. These 14,000 views, for being posted 2 months ago, not bad for a DMO. I mean, this is one thing I learned recently at the conferences I've been attending in the last 6 months is this is low hanging fruit for DMOs. A lot of us have videos. Almost no destination marketing organizations are active on YouTube. And it has search relevance. So all this stuff ends up in, Google owns YouTube. So when you're posting videos on here, it shows up in search results and all sorts of stuff. So I'm pleased with that. The shorts, I think, are really fun and kind of a nice way to repurpose other stuff we have. I mean, for instance, whale watching, but I mean, even like the pumpkin drop, this is made for this kind of platform. Maybe I don't have audio going yet.
that one was from a few years ago.
Yeah, and there's audio you're not hearing because I just don't want to click things because we're streaming and everything. But like these videos, these are all doing pretty well, really. I mean, we have 1.2 thousand views for that one. This is a pull out of our sizzle reel, and you can see that one didn't catch on quite as much. These are a bunch of videos we did where people are talking about why they like the Seaside at the farmers market. This was a bunch of people that said why they like Seaside at the volleyball tournament. You can see 1.5 thousand. These are all posted within the last few weeks, so it's really quite good. On the video side of things, we're posting the videos we've done with Astoria and Cannon Beach together, and they're picking up some real views, and I think over time this will continue to go. And then we have some shorts in here that are just super short. And that's because these were part of an ad campaign that we ran that I'll talk about in just a second. They're only 6 seconds long, but they've racked up quite a few views too. So this is actually from our North Coast Food Trail video, and it's only, of course, you gotta watch like a 2-minute ad to watch the 6-second video, but this is, and it just has a voiceover from the guy who does our video saying, Seaside has the sandiest beaches in Oregon, a hotel room with your name on it, and it goes to this, and so like, it's a nice little quick ad touch point, and we're using it in ads, but people are also just watching it. So this YouTube will become like Facebook and Instagram for us. It'll become another social media platform.
So whose dog is that,
We actually don't remember, but when we posted that in the group asking whose dog it was, someone had actually
Someone claimed it.
spoke up and said, "Oh, it's my dog." Like, well, your dog is famous now.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Okay, so another trend we're noticing is a surprising renaissance of energy and activity on Facebook relative to Instagram. Has anyone else noticed that in their properties? Is that just a tourism thing? Yeah, it's strange. So we largely post the same content on Facebook as we do on Instagram. And with that same content, we gained 1,128 followers this quarter on Facebook to 75,000. And actually, since I wrote this report, we're now at 75,400, almost 75,500. And Instagram had less than 200 in that same time. And so it's interesting because that dynamic would have been completely flipped just even a couple of years ago, where we were seeing all the activity on Instagram. Facebook was very quiet, but it's completely gone the other way now. Some of that might be because Facebook owns Instagram and is kind of deprioritizing it and wants to bring that back to Facebook. I really don't know.
We just had 4 different TV stations contact us about the whale, and I was assuming that Tiffany put out a media alert. She did. She just put it on Facebook. And so the TV channels are contacting us. They wanted us to do some interviews and all that stuff, but they all got it from Facebook. They didn't get it from a media post.
Yeah, interesting.
I was surprised.
Yeah. I do think something's reshifted back towards Facebook recently. And then, so speaking of video, we also recently completed a campaign that extended across YouTube and connected TV placements in the Pacific Northwest. This was a digital pass at a broadcast audience. So you might remember back in the fall, we ran broadcasts like TV commercials in the Pacific Northwest targeted to certain folks. This is a digital pass at that same audience. So from February 12th through March 20th, we ran the 2 videos that we ran are Astoria and Seaside together. There's no Cannon Beach, but it's Astoria, Seaside. And then the 60-second Seaside video that you saw on the top of our YouTube page there. On connected TVs in Seattle, Yakima, Spokane, Tri-Cities, and parts of the Portland DMA that are further than 150 miles from Seaside, which is quite a bit. And then that portion of the campaign reached 294,000 unique households. And then at the same time, we were running on YouTube those 4 Seaside shorts I just showed you and our 60-second video that was at the top of that page. And they earned 2.2 million impressions. It's quite a bit cheaper than YouTube than it is on CTV. And total 48.5 hours watch time in about 2 months. So good stuff. May 2nd is the first Saturday Art Walk. We have a Whiskey and Wine Walk weekend on May 15th, 16th. We are pitching Whiskey and Wine Walk to TV stations through our PR person. May 30th is Point of the Coast, and we've had a success with that one. On May 14th, they will be on or brewers or organizers, somebody will be on Coin. May 14th talking about that thing. And then May 30th, I don't have it on here, but that's the junior parade in Portland this year. It's going to be on a Saturday this year, not a weekday.
The Rose Festival, that or we.
Made some changes this year.
Rather we can.
No, it's the weekend.
One weekends early this year, so I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
So the weekend is 24. It's late in 2027.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what that event is like on a Saturday, because it's typically what, like on a Wednesday or Thursday, Ken?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we are a sponsor of the Decoration Station again, and our media monitoring this system has picked up a couple of things where they've started talking about the junior parade and stuff, and they've been name checking Seaside, so it's been good. But it'd be interesting to see what it's like on a weekend.
Any business?
Yes, old business. So for the tourism grants, the only update is, as you remember, we were here last month and we talked to the Mechanic from Watershed Council, and I followed up with finance department about that. And it turns out that, you know, at this point, they wanted to reapply for the grant instead of taking the money last minute and trying to spend it really quick. That's fair, makes sense to me. So I shared that feedback with them and hopefully it'll reapply. But that's the only outstanding part of the grant process. So that's the only update for that. Any questions about tourism grants from the previous year?
Do you guys have any questions since you're recipient of one?
I don't really have any questions. We're just waiting for it to open up, because as far as I know, it hasn't opened for this year.
Yep, you're correct. We gotta talk about it.
We just keep checking.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in just a minute, but before we get into that North 101 sign, I wanted to give you an update. The budget committee is meeting here in 40 minutes. This is the second budget meeting of the cycle this year. I think there's 3 scheduled. At the first one, the TAC request to improve accessibility at the north sign was in the recommended do pass section. So saying, you know, it's ultimately up to the council and the budget committee, but it's marked as a plea, like we think this should pass, which is good for us. So that should be, it's a good sign. We talked right about how the public works and everybody wants to move the sign rather than make a long pathway. There's this fun little mock-up of not exactly what it's going to look like, but just an idea of visually what that would be like as far as close to the sign. And one thing I want to point out is if this happens, we went out and toured the site and looked at it. There's a little grove of trees here right now, like scrub trees, and they would be removed and the sign would be put in there. There's a little bit of a little high elevation point here. And from this point then, this welcome sign would be the first spot on the highway that headed south that you could see the ocean. So there might be some opportunities to kind of build in some signage or recognition of that fact too, as like this could truly then be the gateway to the Oregon coast or something. I don't know, but it's kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of worked out in a kind of a cool way.
Yeah.
There is a tree right here. And the public works director said he'd be happy to remove that. I don't know what kind of political will that would take. Like, I don't know if I know it's like a park, but I mean.
They're kind of dying anyways.
Yeah.
The trees there are
The one, but even down on the water here, because this, I think this
Oh,
viewpoint.
further
Yeah.
out.
This viewpoint could be opened up a little bit more, because there's really not a huge view space here. I put this here simply because it highlighted this view.
So you're talking about removing one of the trees close to the water?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that, whose property? Is that the?
It's urban, Seaside's.
It's still
Yeah,
Seaside owns that part.
yeah.
Oh, there you go, hail.
Oh.
So, but it's looking good. It's tracking. It was pretty funny. I don't know if you guys have watched the budget committee meeting, but one of the things that was on the budget as we do not recommend you pass was the Russ Vandenberg archway. That's literally what it said. I was like, that's a joke. You're not supposed to put that on.
For the Vandenberg right now. So
Any word on
became
the,
a Laker fan. It's always been a Laker fan, so.
any word on the Y sign?
I don't think it's gonna get dedicated funding for this year, not because it was also not recommended, but that wasn't because they don't want to do it. It was because they want to, let's focus on one thing at a time as far as budget wise. We can still do visualizations of designs and stuff. We can still move forward on that without getting to the point where we need a huge chunk of budget to make it work. We can budget money to like do designs and move that project forward. We just can't install it without extra budget. You know, does that make sense? Like, we can still move forward with it, but they don't wanna approve. I don't know what the budget committee will do, but the recommended pathway from staff was not to allocate another $50,000 for that project as well this year.
My only pushback on that with them, not that I haven't showed up to any of those, is that right now, the money that we have can be used for tourism projects like this, where it's not being shifted to the 50-50 model. And so
All
holding
the,
off,
you're talking about all the reserve.
holding off benefits the city's finances if they don't do projects. Does that sort of make sense?
It makes sense, but it's not as much money as you think, honestly. It really is.
No, I know compared to what is there.
Well, I had a meeting yesterday with like some of the Oregon legislative aides and some coastal DMOs and stuff. And one thing that's interesting about the coastal money is like, we always talk about that reserve, you know, it has all the millions of dollars, whatever. That is the 70 portion of the 70-30 split that's already been allocated.
Right.
So you don't, as far as I understand it, you don't go in and just split that and it goes 50-50 to the city, 50. It's already a 70-50, so at most you could take an extra 20.
Right.
Yeah. And so I don't think a $50,000 would like make a difference really in that situation.
But I mean, it would be an extra 20% of that,
Well, 50, yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah. So I understand that logistically, if we're saying it has to be spent and if Public Works can't move that fast, that's one thing, but if they're holding off because they don't wanna spend that money in this fiscal year, that's where I feel like they need to reevaluate that because it is then saying we wanna hold off because we want that additional funds for our own projects, not tourism projects.
Well, I think that is their official position is that they want more money for general fund. So,
Right, but then how can they justify saying no to a project that it actually is tourism draw based?
yeah, I just feel
Right
like,
now, I
I
mean,
feel like
it's-
I don't know, but I
Yeah.
would say that they would say that our priority is this one, we'll work on this one, and
Right.
that is just too much extra.
Yeah.
Public Works is other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like I said, we still can move forward on that. As far as, we could have visualization options drawn up that what we could put there, and then we could vote on, the town would vote on a recommended direction for that. It's just we wouldn't be able to start building it till next July, not this July.
Right.
Is there anything that could be done to improve the sign on the south side of town?
The way that were you at our last meeting? You were, right?
I just don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough. The way that, so I had to make a presentation to the budget committee about the tax 3 recommendations. The north line accessibility, well, actually it was accessibility at both signs, that's what the presentation was. The chevron sign and the archway. And at that presentation, the budget committee indicated that they would like to prioritize the north sign, deprioritize the south sign because there's a lot less options there, and instead focus on doing something at the chevron that could then serve really as our south well.
I guess my question is on the sign on the south, do we have the same amount of people stopping to get their pictures taken at it as we do on the north side?
Well, so because people can park in the Relief Pitchers parking lot,
Yeah.
they're not trekking across uneven.
But are they
ground.
doing it though? Are they stopping and getting their photos?
Oh, 100%. Almost every time I see, every time I drive by, there's somebody out
I don't
there.
drive
Yeah.
by that sign that often,
Yeah,
so I don't know if they're even stopping there. I know they stop at the other one, so it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
I don't know if the one on the south side is noticeable.
Yeah.
So they are.
We also just don't have as much land there to do anything with, so it just becomes that was just kind of how it developed, so.
Well, if they're doing it, then they're seeing the sign.
well, and there's access, like they can walk right up to it without without, again, like trekking over lumps of grass and. You know, stuff like that, so I mean, it is landscaped-ish right up to the base rather than the one on the north side, which is a little wild.
New business?
Okay, so do need to launch this grant program pretty soon. I've wanted to quickly just share that I updated this page to more clearly, hopefully, state, because I'm gonna be honest with you, this page was like kind of a. We've had this grant for many years, and this page was kind of like, okay, well, we need a page to talk about it, but. To me, ever since we added a second grant, it wasn't always clear when you landed on it that there are two programs. And so I've tried to be more clear that there are two programs here. One, there's two. Okay, so that's been updated, and hopefully that will help people understand at a glance what's going on here. I've brought updated guidelines for both programs, and the advisory committee basically needs to review these and come to some agreement about how we want to run the guidelines for the next one. So this is the events grant. I want to keep it too sorry.
You know what?
Yeah, remember.
Oh,
Okay, so for the events grant, mostly the dates have just been updated in this, but I've highlighted here. There's two things that my recollection, and feel free to bring up more if you had them or you recall something differently. But during the last cycle, two things came up. One is the timing. As a history lesson, it used to be that you could get grants, tourism grants all year long, but you were limited in the summer. You could only get up to $3,000 in the summer, but you could get them all year long. We have since changed it so you cannot apply for them in the summer, but you can get them the rest of the year. There has been
I
some.
thought it was the reverse.
Yeah, I don't think we were ever issued them, so.
No, we were when I started. You could,
Okay.
yeah, yes, you could.
not for summer use, but still like
No, you-
issuing the money.
No, you could. It was what it said is events in the summer are limited to 3,000 and they're not prioritized.
I thought that was a new thing. I thought it was just the shoulder and off-season events would be granted that for like a long while, and then we changed it because we weren't seeing the number of grant applications for those dates, so we changed it so they could be used, but it would be limited.
That could be true. That could be true. From my perspective, when I came into this program, that's what it was. It was that you could apply in the summer, but it was limited. So maybe before that, that was the case. I don't actually know.
How many years?
7?
Yeah, it definitely could have been 8 years ago.
It could have been, yeah. But I think we've
I didn't remember last month.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
we've walked back towards, trying to prioritize the off seasons. And so some of the feedback that I've heard about these grants and that we've discussed here is that a whole bunch of our amazing events happen in September and right on the cusp of the season they want to do. So that's a question mark that you guys should discuss and figure out what you want to do. Do you want to continue? You have a few options. We continue as we're doing it now, and as we did it last year. You could institute some kind of limit on funds around the early parts of the off season, or some other kind of limit, or you could have a stricter window on when people can apply.
I think that it would be a bigger carrot to dangle for new events that were held in the off season, not shoulder season. So new events held between October and March 31st or something like that. That's a new event would be able to be granted a larger fund. If it's a brand new event, if you're starting it from a dead stop, it takes a lot of money to get an event going. So I would be, would just like to shoot that out there, that I think that it'd be better to offer up to $10,000 for an event that was going to be held between October 1st and April 1st.
And 10,000 is pretty steep when we only have 25 to work.
I mean, if other events that were in the shoulder season applied, what it would mean is, well, I mean, we also only grant as much as we have, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we had shoulder season events, if we had 10 shoulder season events that were asking for 3,000 apiece, then we might not have that 10 grand for that one new event that happens in the off season when we actually need people to do events. But it's still available to the folks that are not new or are not in the off season. It's just less. Keep a $3,000 limit for shoulder and. existing
I don't think
events.
there is a $30,000 limit
Oh,
for
there-
shoulder right now.
Oh.
Is there any limits?
$5,000 is.
Yeah.
So for most somebody can get $5,000, okay.
Yeah.
And it's all to be used outside of the summer season. From May. So, May.
And what is September 6th? Is that a specific date?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
I can't, I was looking this up, I tried to make it match what we had last year.
Oh, Labor Day, is that?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Memorial Day through Labor Day.
Yeah.
So, That's.
That's not even part of our grants.
It's kind of.
Yeah, this gives no money to anything that's happening in the summer, correct?
Right, yeah.
well,
Yeah, I don't recall that 3,000 that you're talking about. Because it wasn't written down there. So everything between Memorial Day and Labor Day was excluded from grants.
do you think that there should be an incentive for new, an additional incentive for new events? Versus existing?
Well, the original idea was to offer grants for like 3 years until the program got going. But then there's exceptions for programs that don't make any money.
Like salt makers?
Yeah. Yeah. I still believe we shouldn't do fund anything in the summer.
Yeah, we should be there.
But do you think there should be additional incentive for off season instead of shoulder season?
After October 1st.
Yeah.
There could be, but I think your initial proposal was the highest. He said,
For new events?
yeah,
So here's
considering we only
here's the
have
events from
25,000.
last year. So we had September 5th through 7th, September 11th through 14th, September 6th through 7th. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's
Yeah.
definitely
They all came before the rains. That's kind of.
yeah, no, I understand that, I get why that is, but if your intent is to grow events that are bringing people outside the season, but these don't quite serve it, even though, you know, so. And in the year before, I recall, we had a very similar sort of thing. So I think that, well, there are a lot of ways forward, like an extra incentive for summer, for deep winter and stuff like that in spring, but problem with that is that it's a rolling grant program, so you're still gonna get those first applications no matter what. They're not, I know Sandfest asked for a lot of money, but. They're not asking for a ton either, and there is a chance you could limit. Grants in the first month or last month, something of the shoulder.
On September events.
Yeah, I mean, you can do anything you want, I mean. I just recall this was something that we earmarked to discuss.
Because they all came within a couple of weeks.
Because this is our chance to change it, once we launch it, we can't change it.
Did we actually turn anyone away because we ran out of grant money?
Well, remember, because this was the first year that we did the rolling,
Uh-huh,
and so we did at the end not have enough money, but that was only because people waited till the last minute
Yeah.
to apply. But there's certainly a lot of opportunity for people to apply.
I mean, I know why event organizers organize in September.
Yeah, no, I get
I
it.
mean, it's, yeah. There's a darn good reason for it, for sure, but, you know, ultimately, if we have fair weather days in September, it's just as busy as any summer day and, so with our businesses, we really need to support them in those where we have fewer of those fair weather days.
It's just hard to bring people in on some of these dark winter. When
Yeah.
it's rainy and nasty. I mean, you can do something like a bigger,
Well, it doesn't have to be an outdoor event.
maybe indoor too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anything that has the potential to generate overnight for events.
and I think that not all of those did bring very many overnights. Not all of them did. I think some of them that we awarded were kind of like, it's good for Seaside, but it's not, it didn't bring in a tremendous amount of room
And
nights.
salt makers.
Like Winter Waters probably didn't bring in very many folks. I know that some people came for beach books, but I don't know if it was $5,000 worth of folks coming for that event. That was kind of focused towards one business rather than Seaside on whole.
I'm not specifically sure if Winter Waters did, specifically because their events in Seaside weren't super huge attended events, although the ones at Times Theater. But their grant follow-up is really good about how Seaside got promoted through it. So it wasn't not necessarily tied to our primary goal of overnight stays. I wish every grant had that kind of follow-up. And I'll share that one, I guess, when we get into probably our next, we'll start applying, but the Winter Waters one really, they did a lot of good work on showing how Seaside was promoted through that long stays.
Yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that it wasn't good for
No, I
Seaside,
know.
it's just
As
as far as this
It's
specific
been
grant.
good,
Yeah.
A good timing.
They're a newer one, just starting, right? So it'll
Uh,
grow.
Couple of years, yeah.
Still growing.
Is that all?
Yeah, can you scroll down?
The down is, you get into the event stuff. So this one here is the end of the year, and then down here it's the community arts stuff.
Well, how many applications do you get?
It varies every year.
Do you try to fill all of them or is there some that were turned away?
Just because we didn't have enough money in
Right.
our end, but it's, well,
We just wonder.
we have decided.
It varies, it's different every year. Again, this format that we did this last year was the first year that we've ever done the roll.
Yeah.
So this was the first. One. But have been years where we don't get enough bids for the money.
You can see right now.
There's been other years where we get too many.
The nice thing about the rolling is that not everybody can meet that deadline for their planning purposes. And so having rolling gave extra time, I think, for folks to, discover the grant, number one, and then
Yeah.
fill the paperwork out and that there was still money left, nearing the end was nice for that aspect. Well, if that's in question, I think carry on with that
Yeah,
model.
I would advocate that. But I mean, I think those are all great events at the beginning there, so I'm not necessarily saying you have to do something, I'm just saying that was something that you should discuss and either actively decide, yes, we want to continue. at least considering all these September clusters. Or putting some kind of limit on what a September or even May or whatever, like a late one could be.
You don't recall after seeing the reports, is the $3,000 making the difference between them being a profitable event or a losing event?
Are you talking about Sam this?
For not specifically that, but as one of them, yes.
And
I mean, is the $3,000 gonna make the difference between them deciding to do it again and not doing it again?
I really don't know, because some of them are fully done, I mean, some of them, like. Do you think Halloween happenings would happen without a tap grant? Like some of them, like. We built the grant guidelines around supporting events that can't support themselves.
They have.
It would happen, yeah,
It was.
it would happen, it probably wouldn't be as big and we couldn't get as much. It's a big candy giveaway for a lot of the local, a lot of locals go to that, but easy. So that's. A lot of the expenses, that is the pumpkin too. The pumpkin draw actually it costs us, at least half of our grant. Buying the pumpkin and, you know, it's cleaned done and everything, so, yeah, it just might make it less, that's all.
And have to replace the pool every year.
Yeah, well, I mean, we might, you know, get a 100-pound pumpkin, you know, so. It's good, you have to get a smaller pool, man.
Just get a bunch of them.
Smaller
Pumpkins
ducks is
drop.
beavers.
That miniaturize it one year.
Might
It's a mini pumpkin drop.
So anyway, questions like that make me, for me. Trying to evaluate something based on whether it's profitable or not. It's hard to say because some of them definitely aren't profitable. We fund them. Anyway,
It's just
it's more
that-
about
it's
the
like-
experience for
it's like-
Seaside.
Halloween happened and we don't charge anybody to get in, it's all free, it's all free.
Yeah.
There's-
Obviously, Sandfest, they charge, so like that.
Yeah. We have no way to generate money for it other than sponsorships.
Okay, right.
I guess the thing is do we wanna lose those events? And the answer is no. Is the $3,000 going to make them say, man, we just can't do it, we just cannot, you know, having an extra
Yeah.
$3,000 to raise to break even or whatever, sorry, Seaside, but we can't make it happen here. Like, we don't want that to happen, for sure,
I mean,
But-
the pumpkin drop kind of grew out of started out with a pumpkin way off.
Yeah.
Have you seen like the layoffs they do up in the valley? We did those here. SDA did those here for like 2 or 3 years. And we were losing money on it, so it had to go away.
Yeah, no, I get that. We're not actually talking about the October event. We're talking about. September.
But I'm saying, if, like she said, if you work your butt off and you end up breaking even or losing money, you're not gonna do that. You gotta find a way to make something out of it.
right, if somebody has had a grant for the last 4 or 5 years and they're bringing in $15,000 to $20,000. And they're profitable with the event, they're gonna continue to have it because it's bringing in that $15,000 to $20,000 net, then maybe we should back away on the grants. If they're breaking even or barely making it and the $3,000 is gonna make the difference between them doing the event or not doing the event at Seaside, we wanna continue to support them at that level. But also, how long? So if Jazz Fest, for an example, you know, we didn't see the numbers, we're continuing to support this event that we really want to succeed. We're putting our money towards it, we want them to succeed, but they're just not seeing the numbers. At that point, it's maybe not worth putting that money towards that event because we're not seeing those numbers. But if we're continuing, I mean, Halloween happens, just the pumpkin drop alone, say there was nothing else that $3,000 went to, pumpkin drop alone is bringing people here. I know because of the chamber, who doesn't hold the event at all, we get tons of phone calls asking about it ahead of time, well ahead of time, months and months ahead of time. Who plans that much for a pumpkin drop? But people do. So, you know, absolutely,
We
we
can
wanna
start,
continue.
we
to
can start whale
support.
drop and see if that.
Whale drop, yeah.
That
So is it fair then to say that you wanna keep the guidelines as they are and evaluate each grant on its own merits? Like you just wanna look at,
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing like a $3,000 limit on the tight shoulder season, then maybe 5 for the rest of the year. That might be a good way to, if somebody wanted more money to put on an event in October rather than September. There'd be
Yeah.
more incentive to move it a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that model, yeah. And how do you feel about events that have gone 5 years with
Um,
grants?
Can I add on that? Cause I thought one of the things that I recall is the idea of the grant was to kickstart
Yeah.
an event
Yes, it was.
and then they have their success and it's on them now.
Yeah.
So I think that's already in there that, okay, I mean, you can continue funding it, but like you've stated, okay, now we've given you a few chances, 2-3 years in and
But
if it's
in
not
the grant
working-
application, they need to show us the P and L to see how they did the years before.
Right.
So we know if they're making it or not.
right.
Right,
And basically that happened years ago when the PBO would come to this committee for money. And we'd fund them. And we started looking at the numbers, they were making all kinds of money and sending kids to camp in the Bahamas. And I'm like, wait a minute. You guys are fine, you don't need us anymore. Wait, did I take flack for that? Well, but yeah, and that was good, because PBO is great.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't need this money anymore.
right. Yeah, so do we, I mean, it's hard because I don't wanna set a limit. STDA, I think, deserves the money year over year to support that because they're not running it as a profit event, and so, you know.
we addressed this already. That's what the current grants say. I mean, it used to be, you were right, it was seed money,
Yeah,
but we adjusted it specifically a few years ago for that very beginning.
yeah,
For those types.
It's still in here. It says generally grant funds are intended as seed money with an upper limit of 5,000 per project and a 5-year limit on receiving funds. Projects that consistently generate overnight stays and offer exceptional visitor experiences may be considered for extended funding beyond 5 years at the discretion.
yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, so that's what that came out of.
So that's all, but what we might do is limit 3,000 on this, and so that would be. What? Through September, the end of September. Beginning of June.
Yeah, these are all. For September 14th. But
But I mean, do we have anywhere a definition of what the shoulder season is?
well, I wish I could remember now, but September is one of our busiest months of the year.
Right.
The entire.
Yes.
So if you wanted to just do a clean break and have September, that would be,
It's our sixth
Supported.
busiest month of the year.
it'd be supported by the.
September's your 6th busiest, really?
I can see that would be mine too.
March and April are bigger than September.
Oh, cause PBL,
No, spring break.
oh, spring breaks, yeah.
So it's number 6.
Okay.
And June's probably 7.
So, so you're saying March, April. Busy enough, you don't have to worry about having an event add-on,
Absolutely.
okay,
I don't, well, late April, yeah, early March, yeah. There's about 6 weeks in the middle there where the town's full. So I don't know, I don't know how particular you want to get about when you do it.
so January, February is still PBL, if we're talking weekend events, the hotels are full anyway.
Yeah.
So then we don't worry about January, February events,
So really, November and December are the slowest.
November and December is slowest for sure.
We haven't had a problem though with the bunching in those months yet. I don't think it's a problem. As far as grants go.
In January. February.
In spring break, and so we just don't get a lot of people do events at those times. But you need to settle on it right now.
Well, they used to, that's when we used to have the Child Fest.
March,
It's during Morgan Spring.
For February.
No, it's during Morgan Spring Days March. It's like. You know, it just bothered me to have events when we don't need them, but it's, I don't know how particular you wanna get on dictating that.
Well, the reason that I don't think the bunching not happening has an impact on you because you can still evaluate that, get a grant if you say you get like 1 or 2 and they happen to happen right when you know it's the busiest weekend of spring break already. You can have that feedback on that at that time. But I think it would do a lot of work upfront if you set a limit on September, just because every year now we have a huge amount of grants coming in, including multiple Sandfest applications.
I mean, organizers organizing events have to do their research to find out if hotels are full or the prices are higher because it's spring break or PBL or whatever.
Well,
So
they
I think
should.
they would be less likely to be organizing something that would fill a tremendous amount of hotel rooms in those dates.
Well, that's not true.
Did they
Otherwise, we
not
wouldn't
do it?
We wouldn't have volleyball and hood coast in, cause
No,
those
that's true.
we're
Yeah,
gonna be full if those events aren't there.
that's true, yeah.
Organizers don't really check the hotel rooms, they just plan their event.
That's true, yeah. Yeah. So then the proposal right now is 5,000 for off season, 3,000 for shoulder
That's
season.
just where to put that around, October 1st,
I
September
think that was-
15th,
I think October
I
first,
think October 1st.
but then you're saying maybe end it in February.
Well, I mean,
For the big 5,000.
Mhm.
You can't unless you pour it in December when PBL starts out. You really want it to be targeted to the slowest season, slowest months, those are the slowest months. You really want to get in there. Most considered.
I'm just, yeah. I don't know if January and February would still, I don't know if people, but we used to have a really big event in February here that just thing funded the jobs. It was in February.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe I think we'll tell them. Because they're both going at the same time.
Yeah.
And PBL, I don't think all of the weekends. Hotels are sold out because some of the events aren't big.
Yeah.
The biggest event is, I think, just before spring break.
Well, we're not seeing summer limits too with our 1,300 hotel rooms, but I think over 200, it's probably enough to accommodate some from each, but.
So I think I think you could push that up to. Yeah, hey. I don't know if. I don't know,
I say avoid spring break,
yeah,
you know, have it be March 1st. And
or March 15th.
March 15th, yeah, and avoid any of the spring break times. I just have those levels be 5,000 and then
I mean,
anything,
but
anything.
an event in June would be good too, so I mean,
But we're not saying that they can't get money, it just can't be the 5,000, it's just can't be the additional $2,000. So the event's happening September 6th through September 30th. And the March 1st, no, March 31st,
March 15th.
March 15th, sorry, March 16th through June, through May 25th. They can apply for 3,000.
3,000, okay. And 5,000. Yeah.
That was March through what?
May 25th.
May, just March through May for the 3,000?
No, that'd be the second one, so September 6th through September 30th.
Okay.
And March
16th.
16th through May 25th.
3,000. Everything else in between.
Everything in between
Summer's
that.
off.
And then May 25th through
Well, you clearly
March,
stated.
September 6th.
No, guys.
No,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like to vote on that?
Is there a motion?
yeah, you wanna read that?
How dare you? Yeah, if you want me to take more time, you got another half an hour, Keith?
Do you have all the numbers written down there, Ken?
September's or March 16th through May 25th
Yes,
and September 6th through
September 30th. Would be a
$3,000.
$3,000 limit on grants, yes. And then October 1st through March 15th would be a $5,000 limit for grants.
That didn't sound as confusing as it did earlier.
May I have a motion to approve that?
So move.
All in favor?
Wait,
I'll second, sorry, second. Thank you, Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Thank you.
Okay, and then. There's a whole other thing we need to talk about this.
Established.
Yeah, new events versus established events. And again, this came out of the bridge tournament. Applying
Okay.
for funding. And I remember the general consensus was, "Ew, this doesn't really work for the intent of this grant, but how do we capture that in a guideline?"
And why didn't it work?
Well,
Because they've been coming
they've been
for.
coming for many, many years and now suddenly
Anyways.
to underwrite it with tourism money.
It's
felt
not
strange.
Yeah,
And also, well, to be fair though, then you all looked at all the documents and stuff and realized that wasn't it to like. Maintain a high level of quality or something that they had funding. Problems or something, they were trying to keep it at a very high level.
Mm.
And so it just wasn't, it didn't
it
fit.
seemed like it fit the parameter.
I think that's the beauty of evaluating each of them too, it's, you know, like, it's a little bit based on the evaluation of the value that the event, each event individual is gonna bring to Seaside. And I think that we all kind of look at it in that way, each of the grants that we look at.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, they can apply, but we need to see. How much they made and all that stuff. So if it's an event in the off season, we've had a long time, but it's just gonna go away and we don't want it to go away, we should be able to help.
Yeah, and we can't just say nothing that's at the convention center, because like Jazz Festival is at the convention center and we funded it, so if something new came up like that, we might do it, but.
Well, I mean, if we get these things in January, and February, they're probably gonna be at the convention center.
Yeah.
If they're gonna be on the beach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that should be.
Okay, so you just wanna evaluate that on an individual basis.
Well, I think, you read it out, that the events that have been going for longer can be evaluated on an individual basis. And I think that seems reasonable. I just think I think that for a new event, man, there's a lot of expenses, like a lot of expenses. And without any knowledge of whether you're going to have profit at all. Man, those newer events, we still want them to try. And maybe they need a little bit more, maybe $10,000 is the right answer. But maybe they need a little bit more than the established events who know what their profit is expected to be because of previous turnout. Especially advertising. If we're talking about advertising a brand new event, it requires so much more because you don't have the contacts.
Well,
that
that's where the visitors bureau could come in kind. Maybe Ken could pull up the sign out.
Sandwich board.
I mean,
We have a
any.
meter bug costume you can wear.
Oh, that'd be.
I think the visitor bureau is great at promoting events.
Totally.
That can help.
Yeah, but it's not, but with a new event too, it's, they have to establish a lot of, even just the vibe of the advertising for the event, to have somebody design that, it takes money. And so,
Yeah, there is a point there, like the advertising that we do for an event is really. Not gonna make or break it, because it's really couched in at the destination level of, it's always through the lens of Seaside, and this is a destination, here's what's going on, it's never like, you must come to this event is what it's about, it's always. About something else with a little bit of the event kind of folded in as a kind of a carrot. So we do help with radio, email promotion, our website is a good place, but you certainly wouldn't want to rely on us to get people in your door. We're an additional on top of the advertising you should be doing.
And the aim isn't to lead somebody to a website to buy tickets or buy registrations.
Not most of
From
our
advertising,
yeah,
right?
no, it's to, look all the cool stuff going on the Seaside.
Yeah. I don't know, my proposal would be to add another $2,000 to whatever season that was falling under. If it's a brand new event, we can grant up to $5,000 for the shoulder season and up to $7,000 for the off season for brand new events.
If we have them.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I
it-
don't think
it-
they go that far.
Well, it always is, well, it depends on what your, it depends on the
You're still
parameters.
helping other people, other,
Right,
yeah.
up to.
up
Right,
to-
that's what I'm saying, is that they can apply. It doesn't mean we're gonna award $7,000, but they can apply up to, if some new killer event was proposed and we're like, yeah. We wanna see this for Seaside, we think it's gonna succeed in bringing people here, it's a brand new event. And we wanna make sure that we're backing this because we think that this is the first of many years to come of this event. Yeah, we wanna back it for sure, and they really need the seed money to get
And
started.
we have the money.
And we have the
I mean,
money,
we
right.
haven't got.
And that would be at the discretion of the committee.
Yeah,
Oh, the whole thing, yeah, for sure, I mean.
So
yeah.
you're proposing to put in an option for that.
Yeah.
If an extra $2,000 for a new event.
Rather than saying, oh, we're limited to 5,000. Or we're limited to 3.
Anybody want to make a motion? Word root. I would move for that. But it has to be, it has to be an event that the committee would agree that they think will make it a very good, so.
For sure, yeah, I mean, we take the $25,000 pretty seriously. We evaluate, I feel like we evaluate our events pretty extensively. To decide that we feel like it's the right pony to back, and nothing's gonna change in that matter. If we're talking $7,000, we're gonna spend extra time on trying to evaluate whether that's gonna be worth our money.
So, you're saying for a new event or the first time an event comes to us, be a new event?
A new event to Seaside.
one time only, like they come back the next year, we're not having.
Correct.
We wouldn't do, yeah.
Correct.
Then it wouldn't be new.
Yeah,
The old news.
yes.
Yeah, I'd move.
Okay, a motion, second, all in favor,
I,
all opposed.
Keith was the first one.
Yes,
The first.
That was an extra 2,000.
yes, for new events.
And it, whether they were in shoulder or off season. We would bump that an extra 2,000. Potentially.
Right.
shoulder 5,000,
yeah.
off season 7,000.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else to consider for that grant, or we
No.
can move on to the next
I'm
one?
gonna move on to the last one. Okay, so the event one, hand these out to this.
You get one, okay?
So I added under the very first bullet, under requirements for receiving funds, I added funded projects must remain in Seaside for at least 5 years from completion. Based on what we talked about previously. In the meetings,
Or where are you at?
requirements for receiving funds on the second page.
That's,
That didn't exist in the one we just ran last year, or this year, I guess. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. The difference is this was a late edition last year, if you recall, because we had to wait for city council to approve on money and all that stuff. Because this is a brand new grant. This will be the second year we've done this grant. So question on how you want to run this. Last year, it wasn't a rolling deadline. It was a deadline and then all the projects were considered at one time. So because this one could potentially be launched at the same time as the event one, how would you like to handle this? Do you want to open it in May? Do you want to, with funding then being available in July? Or do you want to open it and run it at some other time? Do you want to have it be open on a rolling basis like the other one and evaluate things as they come in? It's up to you.
I actually think that we should go to rolling.
I do too.
I just think that you never know when projects will come up. And give a better opportunity, and it gives the funds available for longer. Too, right?
Open it at the same time as the other grant then, like launch them both at the same time. It does, so the funding would become available in July.
To start, right?
Yeah,
Or-
just be a bit, just for us to process a check.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
And then it would be, and then the last opportunity to get money for that would be then June.
the last opportunity to get money for this, then, well, it dependent on how we set it up. I would advocate that you set it up in the same way as the event one, so the last deadline's in December. So you'd be open from May through December. And it would be a rolling deadline until then.
So the same as this one until the funds are gone.
Yeah,
And is that because you have to start the budgeting process in December? For the next year's $25,000? Like, is there a reason we couldn't keep it open from May to June?
you could keep it open.
May,
You could keep it open, but for this one specifically, it makes less sense because the money has to fund a project that should be substantially begun by June. You know what I mean? By the end of June. The reason that December came up, and I thought it worked really well, was because our existing grant program that we had, the event one, we extended it to December. And did the rolling. So this one just matched it, but I actually think that timeline works out well because it's half the fiscal year.
I'm so sorry, remind me again, it has to be, the funds you said have to be used by June. Awarded in May. Or potentially awarded in May the previous year. To then have to be used by June the following year.
Yeah.
So they have. Right, a year and a month.
They could be awarded in May, but they wouldn't get the money until July. That's the first opportunity to get the money,
then they have
Yeah.
a year to spend.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Year to spend it to erect their art,
Yeah,
okay, and have it up and going.
and if there's a delay, they try to get you to come back. Is that lined out in there? If for some reason they're delayed because of various things out of their control, or they
Like.
have to return the money.
The closest thing we have here is that on the occasion that a project is completed but awarded funds are not documented to be used in full, the unused funding must be returned to the city. Could adjust that, say. Project is completed or not, it's not completed or.
I think that, yeah, we could read something there about not completing a project and getting the money back.
Come back to the committee to out and request an extension. I mean, if I had all my ducks in a row and one of my ducks broke and I can't get it done, I don't wanna give all the money back if I'm gonna get it done in 3 weeks later. So,
I think there's some precedent, we've done that with the
yes,
events.
some way to apply for an extension.
Yeah. I think that would work, if the money's already been sent out.
Yeah.
If it's like the mural with the Mechanical Watershed Council where we had to give the money out, finance department was very clear that they don't, at that point, don't give the money out, just wait till the next cycle. But I think if we've already given it out, something comes up and they're not able to spend it, yeah, I think they should come and ask for.
So
extension.
does something need to be in writing that would allow for that?
Yeah,
I mean, I think there was wordage in here too, that it needed to be. Shovel ready. Right?
yeah, it's just in the introduction. That's
Why?
that's kind of a. That's kind of jargon for the grant stuff. It just means that what the intent of that word in this document is that it's something that you can get done pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Like, you don't need to buy land and do all this, you know what I mean? Like, you have it. You can get permissions, you can get to work on something.
I guess I would say that I propose that we have it rolling with the same deadlines as the events programming grant. Or ease of managing grants, but have it on a rolling basis. Anybody like to motion or amend?
I move, so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Alright.
Committee comment?
I just wanted to find out what the program is on the committee structure thing that we.
That,
We,
Any feedback on that?
that
we
state
fulfill
stroke.
our obligations, I think.
Yes, and as much as I like doing a bunch of work for it to not go anywhere, I just wanted to see if there was any forward movement on that. Because initially we started out by saying that we wanted additional folks on the board too. And we hadn't heard that, like, that didn't really come into factor for that grid that we filled out. So anyway, just want to see if you heard anything at all. I think I already know the answer, but I want to keep bringing it up.
Our feedback was received.
Like there was an email response saying this is, yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, it's a council project and they have to take it up. And I realize that when Seth's here, he says it's a Spencer project, but council's the boss. They're the ones that it's their project, it's not Spencer.
And they got bigger fish to fry at the moment.
Well, I know. Yeah, there's a lot.
whale.
There's a lot of people out for elect, you know, there's all sorts of stuff going on, but I do know that Christine specifically really wants to move forward on that and get it going, so there's at least one voice really pushing to move it along. And we're still talking about it in work sessions, but as far as what next step, like when can we expect to see changes or see them discuss it at a meeting or something? I don't know, I haven't seen it on the agenda yet. But you're right, we've fulfilled our obligation. They're not waiting for anything else for us right now.
I mean, like, are they going to disband these? You know, like that, it'd be kind of nice to know, well, whatever, I mean, it'll just be what it is, whatever it is, but. Yeah. It'd be nice to know what their plan is ultimately. If they're evaluating the value of the committees, whether they're planning on disbanding these committees or whatever, so.
I'm not seeing a lot of disbandment motions going on.
But the thought of adding more members, from city council.
No, it came from us, yeah, because,
I didn't object to it.
yeah, we were.
It started there.
No, it started here and also like trying to make sure that all kind of sectors of business were represented or sectors of the community, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, because didn't it originally start with Seth saying you wanted more citizens on this?
Yeah,
board?
you did.
Yeah, so that's where I think it started.
That's where I
from.
first, yeah. But then it kind of morphed through this process into adding business people and another at-large.
I think more than like Seth's bringing it up was more like, what do you want your committee to look like? I feel like that was like the generic question, and we were like, well, it'd be nice to have people from different, sectors of the community, and then he's like, no, that's not what I was talking about, now here's this grid to fill out, this is what I'm talking about, and I misunderstood that. So-
Spencer,
Well, Spencer ultimately in the end then gave us that, but I think Seth was trying to put across to us, like, how do we wanna see this committee?
Seth's original observations on it were in council meetings specifically about wanting to grow board representation for the TAC. It was, I think didn't it start around, people renewing their accounts and making sure we got new people on this board from time to time. So his comments weren't in this meeting, it was in city council meetings. That's what all that's.
Okay.
You've heard about the whale? Have you been getting,
No.
you guys been?
What about the whale?
So in case anyone's interested, we're gonna be doing a necropsy on Friday. So I don't know, there'll probably be a lot of people. I'm surprised you haven't had people calling the visitors bureau. Ask about it.
I took a picture yesterday morning, went down, got a picture of it, and it's just gray, and you can see that there's the head in the background of prove it's Seaside. We gotta do that.
I was trying to tell them.
Yeah.
Not the whale head.
I thought you meant the whales.
And it's not like the greatest shot, but you can tell there's a big whale,
Big
and
one.
okay, whatever. So Sandy posted it on the Clatsop Community Bulletin page, and it's already up to like 1,300 likes and 80 something shares and like hundreds of comments, and
Well, we had
your aquarium video is the one that I've heard more people have seen.
when we had the one right by Peter Ardell a few years ago. There are thousands.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
There was a guy today, he's local, he said his son's a marine biologist or something like this and said, hey, there's a whale. So he was wondering where it was so he could go look. So I did direct him out.
So
there.
you're probably gonna be good. So yeah,
Just
just,
looked in closer to the weekend, get more of that, especially if the news picks it up, like you
yeah,
said.
it's probably gonna go big time on the news tonight.
Yeah.
So the other one washed up in Yakina, where's the other one?
There's
Just
been,
Yakina.
there've been some.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah.
yeah.
More than
There've
usual.
been 3 up in Washington.
Do you think that could be why it's not getting picked up so quickly? Because there's so many others going on.
Well,
It's getting an old story.
Who's bigger?
We heard it happened. Yeah, Ken got pictures and I made sure he got some that he had. And I expected to get news inquiries all day yesterday. I didn't get one.
Okay.
Now, our media monitoring thing did pick up that the story's being told, but they're not acquiring, just kind of running pictures.
Okay. Well, just wanted you to be prepared.
Your video's good.
What time are you doing it at?
Tiffany's video.
Their crew's supposed to meet at the aquarium like at 7:30, so they'll be out there 8:30, starting all the measurements. Actually, they're gonna try to do measurements the night before, so they can have more time to cut on. By the weekend, it's not gonna look as nice as it does, not that it looks nice now.
Or we could get Greg down there while you're doing.
It's gonna
that.
look worse.
Get internal pictures.
I mean, for months, we had people asking about the fin whale
Yeah,
and wanting to go see it and calling.
It's just the-
to see it.
that's still a blob, right? Is it still there?
I didn't notice it last time.
Yeah, it's finally gone.
Yeah.
No, it's stunk all summer.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
it did.
We drive down there and everyone's parked except for half a mile.
You could not recognize
It's
it.
gonna be Seaside this summer.
So
Well-
it was like a decade ago that you guys like buried one in the dune area, right?
Yeah, and I've already talked to the city and the state parks. It's more of an issue to bury things now than it used to be because regulations are getting more detailed from everybody.
Sure.
But I think if Seaside wants to bury this one, state parks will help make that process because of where it is. Like I said, it's a toss up with me, whether it's an attraction to get people to town or you know. This mess.
Or a detraction
Yeah.
to keep people from having.
No, I don't think it's a distraction. I mean, if it was right in front of the turnaround, I'd say, yeah, let's move that thing at least, but it's far enough off that it's probably not gonna be that bad.
When are you gonna, plant the TNT charges?
Um, Sunday. Or is that Sunday?
Is it gonna still be there on 4th of July?
Probably not. It doesn't smell any worse than the Valella did,
Yeah,
but they go away faster than the whale. So it's not ready to-
They dry up, fly, you know. blow
Yeah,
away.
the whale's not gonna blow away
Yeah,
unless you use that, then
yeah,
it'll blow away.
it just scatters at that point.
Okay, any public comments?
I just had a question. I know you guys talked about radio and news coming out for events. Whenever I've talked to anybody from a radio station, they say because our event's on a weekend, they can't have anybody come out and do anything on it. Is there any help we can get on that or any advice?
I mean, our local station 94.9 The Bridge is usually pretty good about being a part of
I'll try to
things.
contact them.
Paula is the current person to speak to. I have her card if you want to pop back over afterwards.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be okay.
But you wanna try to promote it to get people, do you wanna try to get more participants?
We seem to be growing pretty good on that aspect, just getting, the word out more. I've been all over town this morning handing out flyers. We have members throughout all of Oregon and Washington that we made magnets for people to put on their cars that have the QR codes.
Okay.
That are kind of like a smaller version of the posters I'm handing out. That, if you're standing at a stoplight, you can scan the code really quick and it'll take you right to the event. So we have a lot of people doing that.
So is your goal to make the event larger?
Oh, always.
Cause every time I see someone with a dachshund, I tell them.
Well, there's one day we might wanna try to break the world record.
Okay.
Every time I go into someplace, everybody's like, every time I see a dachshund, I tell everybody, and I'm like, well, here's the flyer, here's a QR code.
So didn't you guys have a thing on one of the local TV
We-
channels
Last year we did
Took
the
dogs?
radio station, or not radio station, the TV station
In Portland.
in Portland, yes.
Yes, yeah.
But like I said, getting someone to actually come out and film the event and, do like little snippets.
Yes, the problem is the weekends. It was during the,
Exactly.
they do.
That's
reports.
every,
They don't-
like the big local stations,
Yeah.
they're like, well, it's kind of a far place to go for a weekend, and I'm like, I get it. And a lot of them, like our local stations, I think I can't remember what's the local one in Eugene.
Easy.
Yeah, they always let me send them in snippets and then they do a story,
Right.
but it's always after.
After the event,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
That's a problem we ran into with the car shows here too.
yeah,
They don't come out on the weekends.
yep. So
So-
I didn't know if there was, it sounds like, maybe can follow up with the connection he's gonna give me with. And-
I mean, if you have any content from years prior, you might be able to send them content for them to then promote. I mean, that may be an angle where if you already have the content, because what you're hoping for is for them to come and get content. But if they can't do that
Right,
and they won't do it, ahead of time because you're not gonna be there, right?
Right.
So if you have content from last year, they might be able to promote the
I did that
event.
a couple, I think like our second year in Seaside, I did that, where the local station in Eugene promoted it prior to and said, and gave us on this date, here's last year's stuff, and so we kind of did that, but I was, I'd like to actually get someone out here to really see what we're doing, and,
So you don't mind if it gets 3 times as big as it is? You
No.
have enough staff to handle that?
we always get people asking for if they wanna volunteer, so.
Perfect.
And we always do a volunteer call in our event page, anybody who wants to volunteer, let us know, so.
Well, we're glad you're doing events here.
Do you have problem finding lodging that will take the dogs?
No, so far, the only hotel I've talked to that said that they don't wanna deal with the dogs is the ones right across from your aquarium. The blue building, I can't remember the name of the building.
Oceanfront.
Yes,
Ocean Front or Reptile?
Oceanfront.
Oceanfront's-
Emptide I work with, Jen's great there.
But yeah, but they can just take it in a suitcase because they're so small.
Yeah, when I called them,
But
she's
they
like,
do have mouths that are like this big.
yeah, when I called and talked to them, they're like, we're oceanfront property, we don't allow dogs. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
So.
There's a lot of other oceanfront properties that do.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be around the ocean, but yeah, so currently I work with ebb tide, high tide, seashore inn, and of course, Hillcrest. And then River Tide was working with us last year, but we never got anybody that wanted to come in town that little bit. They all thought that was too far from the beach, so
If they like to be close so they can.
they like to be closer.
Oh, Best Western.
Best Western didn't want to work with us at all, but I might try again and see. Because I was like, is there any, because I asked, I was like, is there a discount that I can get to push people your direction? And they're like, we don't do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then let me think about you. And I still push people that way when they say, hey, I
If
called
it
this
was
place
in
and it's full.
October, November, they might.
By everybody, right? And by everybody knocking on my door, going, hello?
There'd be an extra. Well, I guess not. I was gonna say there's an extra $2,000 for. You're an established event. See, I don't even know the ordinance thing.
That's
Well,
the
we go from
challenge,
3
is
to
that
5.
Because I have a hospitality property too, and we make 90% of our money 3 months out of the year, and that includes September.
Right.
Even July's a little scant, but September is where we make our money, so anything during that time, it's really difficult to discount because you're saying goodbye to your profits that you have to feed
Right.
yourself the rest of the year.
Right. Yeah, a lot of the hotels are like just waiving like the pet fees, which is even huge if you have multiple pets. And then the ones that we work with are waiving, like, most times they only allow 2. They're waiving the number we can have, or like M Tide this year, is doing something different with us where the first 2 pets you have, they're waiving the pet fee, and then for every pet after that, then there's a pet fee. And so that was like a new thing that we made out with M Tide this year.
Well, it's nice they're working.
Yeah, most of the hotels have been really nice and great working with us.
And people love the event.
Yeah, all the hotels that I went into, because I went into a few of the hotels and did flyers this morning with them. The only one I haven't went to so far yet is High Tide that I need to go down and talk to that one. I always mispronounce her name. I want to say it's Shershel. See, I have so many different people's names in my head. So I gotta go talk to her and give her a flyer, because I haven't walked down that far towards the beach. But I went up and down Broadway this morning and handed out flyers to everybody.
And it's a perfect event name, it's just perfect.
I know that when we first did it, everybody's like, you're misspelling dog sand. I'm like, no, it's a play on words. We know it's spelled the way we want it spelled.
So do you have? There are ways for you to fundraise at the event too?
Yeah, we do raffle baskets and we have a silent auction.
You don't do like a hot dog roast?
Well, we tried that, but we got in trouble.
Yeah, we tried to do the.
But it wasn't fundraising.
Yeah, we used to do the weenie roast on Friday nights on our bonfire, and apparently we got in trouble.
In trouble from whom? The health
The
The
department.
health department.
The Sandman called.
Yeah.
It's funny how they hear about free hot dogs and they just show up.
Yeah, so they
Shut
told
that
us.
stuff down, it's weird.
Me as an exterminator, I can't purchase hot dogs and let everybody here enjoy them, but you can purchase hot dogs and let everybody enjoy them.
So,
Which I thought was really odd.
I had looked into the Wienermobile.
Right.
And they do events, and that's one of the things, if you use their hot dogs, I don't know if and that's something they might look at, because that would be I mean, I just love that idea.
I know
You brought this up.
really want the wiener
So you
mobile.
can-
But, yeah.
You directed me to apply for it and I did, and they never wrote back. But we did ask them to come to the last event and never,
Well, I mean, if the event organizers approach, it
Right,
might work.
it's just a matter of where we would park it,
Right.
cause I'm pretty sure that doesn't just go cruising down the beach.
Stay down at the bottom of the ramp. It's the big, pad at the bottom of the ramp.
I mean, it would really improve attendance.
So there's the Russ Vandenberg Arch.
And the wheel.
Heath Chandler Wheel.
Well, Whittam has been here 3 times.
Has it really?
It'll happen if you can find out a way to make it work. But I think it has to be tied in with hot dogs.
Yeah.
We make all the wieners wear hot dog costumes.
Probably do.
They're already in costume, just squeeze some mustard over the top. It's fine.
We have a couple that do dress up as hot dogs every year for the costume contest.
Okay, if there is nothing else, then this meeting will be adjourned. Next meeting is May 20th, 2 p.m.